guys think of that, huh? Check it out. We spend a lot of time in here working on the car, and there's just nothing cool in here besides the car itself. So I figured we'd add a little addition to the wall, and I figured a nice big mPOWER flag would be appropriate. Anyways guys, thanks for clicking on the video. My name is Gavin and welcome to the channel, welcome to Treats on the Streets. And today we have a sweet unboxing to do today that I'm pretty excited to show you guys and to talk about. So let's dive right into that. So if you guys saw the last upload where I talked about all the parts that I bought off of eBay for this car, first of all, check it out if you haven't seen it. But if you have, at the very end, you'll know that I talked about some parts that I ordered for the car that I was really excited about that was going to kind of mean a pretty big rebuild on this thing. So some of what we're gonna use is in this package right here. So let's get this thing open and talk about what the heck is in here. Oh my gosh. There we go. So this is probably something that you guys weren't expecting. So the nice thing about winter is you're not really doing as much car stuff because it's so dang cold outside. So the winter is usually a good time that people take to do some bigger builds on their car that take a while. The part that sucks for me is I don't have any heat, I don't have any light, so that means any work that I do here this winter is gonna be done with this door wide open and me freezing my butt off. But anyways, since it is winter and since I'm gonna be driving this car a lot less, I figured now would be a great time to rebuild the subframe, and I'm gonna do it the right way. So let's take a look at these parts right here. First of all, these polyurethane bushings are for the rear subframe, and these polyurethane bushings right here are for the rear differential. Let me tell you guys, you've probably heard of people redoing the subframe before, but I'm gonna do it in a very extensive way that's basically going to be rebuilding the whole rear end. So what that means is we're not just gonna be taking off the rear subframe and replacing the old worn out bushings with these new polyurethane ones. We're going to be refreshing the whole thing. That means sanding it all down so it's clear, refinishing and painting it all so that there's absolutely no chance of rust happening, and we're also gonna be doing some reinforcement along with that. I have these reinforcement plates right here that I've actually had for a really long time and never just put them in, but these weld on and strengthen the tabs that are for the mounts for the rear sway bar. Now I know that when you're doing the rear subframe, a lot of people like to add the reinforcement plates for the rear subframe where it mounts onto the car, but luckily the M3s already have those. But if you don't have an M3, then that would be something else that you'd want to do while you have the rear subframe out. It's a pain in the butt to take out, so while you have it out, you might as well do everything that you can while you're in there. And so although this is not going to be every single episode until it's done, we'll probably take a break here and there and do something different. You can expect a video series coming up on the channel where we're going to be going through everything that you need to tear off in order to remove the subframe, how to refresh and strengthen your subframe, and how to install these bushings and put everything back in. And then of course, at the very end, I'm gonna give you guys my impressions and how I think it transformed the car. Now with this car here only having 78,000 miles at this point, and really being in pretty good condition, why would I already need to be rebuilding the whole rear subframe? Well, first of all, let me say, luckily I do not have any of the common cracks and things that you have with a lot of the mounts back there, but I have been having some issues. Let me roll some clips for you. That was some nasty wheel hop. And wheel hop is a bad thing because it can end up busting and breaking a lot of the stuff in the rear end. It can break axles, it can break differentials, it can tear out mounts, just a lot of bad stuff, and that's a sound that you don't want to hear. Another thing is when I'm going over bumps, especially under acceleration, I can literally feel the rear subframe shifting forward and backwards as I'm going. And so although the car doesn't have high mileage, I know the bushings are old, I know they're worn out, and I know they need to be replaced, and I'm gonna do it before anything bad happens. So if you guys have ever been wondering what you have to do to replace the subframe bushings in your car and to strengthen the whole rear end, stay tuned for this whole video series that we're gonna be doing because I'm gonna do it extensively and I'm gonna do it the right way. And everything that I'm gonna be doing is gonna be documented on the channel, so by the end of watching all these videos, you'll know exactly how to do it yourself and everything that you should do while you're in there. Now there's a lot of options when you go for subframe bushings and differential bushings. Let me go into what I have here and why I chose this over other options that are out there. So first of all, I got everything that I have right here, except for these rear sway bar reinforcements from RevShift. I like RevShift because they offer a wide variety of different stiffnesses for the bushings. There's basically 3 different types. There's the black bushings, which are a lot like the rubber ones that you get OEM and offer the best NVH. Or there's the ones in the middle, which are these polyurethane, I think they're 95A bushings. And these are more like street/track bushings. And then there's, of course, the solid bushings. I did not want to go with the solid bushings for a couple of reasons. Let me explain. So if you guys know E30s, E36s, and especially E46s, you'll know that a lot of them have issues with where the rear subframe mounts to the car, it tearing out the body metal there. Now luckily, like I mentioned before, the M3s already have reinforcement there, so I don't have to worry about that as much. But one reason why I didn't want to go with the solid bushings that a lot of people go with, and it's probably okay, is that when you're getting a lot of impact and hard movements on the rear subframe, the bushings absorb some of that, and so it doesn't transfer all the energy right into the body metal. When you have something solid, then all of it is going to be transferred there. And I feel like it gives that a little bit more of an opportunity to put more stress on the metal than is necessary. But I also didn't want to go with the stock softness of the rubber bushings, although those offer the best NVH. So I figured I would go with these 95A polyurethane bushings because they're kind of a happy medium. They're going to be stiffer than stock, but they're also going to absorb some of the shock. Hey, that rhymed. Another reason I like RedShift is obviously they're made in the USA, and I've had very good reviews and things that I've read in the past, and their quality's pretty good. I do like that they're polyurethane, but they do have these metal inserts here to keep the strength up and to keep them from tearing. They're also there on the rear subframe, and not all of them have that, but it's definitely something I would look for. So anyways, that's the choice I made. That's why I made that choice. And I have other polyurethane bushings in the car that I've had really good luck with, like the motor mounts, the transmission mounts, and the rear trailing arm bushings. I've had really good luck with those, so I figure why not continue that with the rear subframe. I had another part which I've only told one of you guys who asked me about it that I was going to buy, but I saw these at RevShift on Black Friday here in the United States on sale. And so I saved myself 60 bucks between these polyurethane rear subframe bushings and the differential bushings, and instead of paying 260, it was 200 bucks for all this stuff. There's going to be a couple big things that I'm looking for as far as improvements with installing these bushings on the differential and the rear subframe. Well, actually there's more than a couple things, but let me go over all that so that you guys know what I'm talking about. So first of all, I'm going to be looking to get rid of that wheel hop like I talked about. It may not go away all the way, but when I first got this car, it didn't do it, and I feel like as I've driven it hard, it's kind of beat up the bushings and it's made it worse. Second, when you stiffen up the rear end, you're going to have better communication from it. You're going to have a better feel and handling overall of the car. You're going to have a better idea of what it's doing. It's just going to be a better driver's car. And third, although my rear subframe is not in bad shape at all, it's just going to make me feel good knowing that I took everything out, refreshed it all, and recoated everything, and it's going to be good to go for probably another 10 or 15 years at least. Last but not least, I'm also expecting to be able to get better feel and better power transfer when I'm launching the car or when I'm accelerating, because less of that acceleration and less of that torque is going to be lost in the movement of the subframe with those soft bushings, and it'll be transferred directly to the ground and directly to the tires. With all of that said and done, there's one more thing I need to show you guys, and it's been making me feel pretty stupid. What you'll notice here is there's a fog light on there, but there is not a fog light on there. And it's not just the bulb. Let me see if I can show you guys what I'm talking about. Oh, there you go. So obviously it's not the bulb that's causing this problem, it's the wiring, but luckily there's a good solution for that. In this package, which I got from Bavarian Autosport for $35, is 2 of these little wires that you're going to need to rebuild the wiring on your fog light right there. It also comes with 2 of these little crimp splices, 1, 2, and then it also comes with this little plug that all that stuff sits in to plug into the fog light assembly. So basically what I figured out by pulling out the fog light is the wiring there's a little picky. It's probably had a lot of water and corrosion, so I'm going to go ahead and rebuild it, and then I shouldn't have that issue anymore. Although it's on right now, I'll drive around and go over some bumps and then it'll turn off, and that's just really bugging me. There's 3 things I'm going to need for this. 1, a torch. 2, a flathead screwdriver. And 3, some wire strippers and crimps. BMW, in their wisdom, made it really easy for you to get your fog light out. There's a little hole right there at the top. You can see there. Basically, you throw your screwdriver in here and push a tab and your fog light will pop right out. Let's see if I can finesse that out for you guys right here. There we go. So what we're gonna do is replace these 2 wires right here with these 2 that came in the kit, and that should fix it. So then what I'm gonna do is just measure this thing out about how far I want it to be, and then I'll cut them both about right there. There's one, and I'll do the same thing with the other one. Now to use this little crimp connector right here, we need to expose some wire. So we'll take these wires, both these and these, strip them a little bit and expose some copper. There you go. Give it a nice crimp there. I've enlisted a little help from my friend the Vice Grips. There we go. That one's on there tight. And now for the fun part. There we go. Certainly not the most common tool for the job, but it's the most fun, so that's the one we're gonna use. And we're gonna try our best not to light this wire on fire. There we go, it's shrinking up pretty nice. Just tape it up real nice. If you're as anal as I am about things looking nice and clean. Plus it's just good to cover it up so that it doesn't get any water in the connection. That's looking pretty good. And now before I go threading this back through the car and plug it in the fog light, I want to make sure it works. We'll plug this sucker in. 1, 2. We got light! So these little wires don't do that great of a job of staying in place, and that's where this little dude comes in. You basically just feed him through here, snap this closed, and then that holds these little things in place. So then you take this little thing, plug it into the back of the fog light, and that snaps in. I'll just feed it back down through here. There it is. Plug her in. Snap it in place. Toss her back in. Now turn them on again for you. Ta-da! For some reason, if you guys have a fog light that's out and you've tried replacing the bulb, it still doesn't fix it, go ahead and try this rebuild kit that I got from Beamer World. Like I said, 35 bucks, super cheap, super simple. You guys know how to do it. Now, I hope you guys all enjoyed today's video. By the way, if you guys are all as excited as I am for this complete rear subframe overhaul, as well as the polyurethane bushings and everything that goes along with that, make sure to give the video a big thumbs up. And if you're not subscribed to the channel, make sure to hit that subscribe button as well as the notification bell so that you don't miss an episode. And I will see you guys in the next one. 593.